Charger's Lalo, without a question, is the best Town Hall 13 attack strategy, but is the hardest to master regardless of how many hours you put in. So I'll be breaking down everything from the best hero equipment to simplifying each step to help you master this and 3-star any base. But first, we need to find the best build for every hero to give them a strong foundation to sweep through any base. Of course, let's start with the Archer Queen. There are specifically 2 types of abilities that I would recommend running depending on how good you are at Queen Charge. With the Frozen Arrow and Invisibility Vial, it is currently the most optimal way to Queen Charge any base. There is a really nice benefit of using it as the slow on any defenses, enemy CC troops, and enemy heroes is definitely really nice alongside having the comfort of the Vial. The only major downside is because of the extremely low HP recovered, so it means that she can die through her ability if you're not careful. But as long as you keep her not on red, you should be completely fine with this set. Of course, the second best set I would recommend is the Archer Puppets and Invisibility Vial, as this works incredibly well if you do not have the Frozen Arrow and you're a beginner to Queen Charge. This is a very good ability to run. While you don't get any slow from this, the comfort of the increased DPS and healing from the Archer Puppets will really help your charge. Just keep in mind that this all happens because it's an active ability and not a passive like the Frozen Arrow. You do also want to be aware of scattershot compartments, as the Queen can have some instances where if she gets too low and pops the ability through a scattershot, she can still die through her ability. Now, as for the Grand Warden, you will need his default set, the Eternal Tome and the Life Gem. This works so well due to balloons gaining an extra amount of HP, while the Healing Tome just keeps everything moving through the base. It's really important to have that Life Gem, as pretty much having extra HP on the balloons will make them survive a lot longer than just using either the Healing Tome or Rage Gem, where they don't get very much value for them. The Royal Champion doesn't gain any of her new abilities, unfortunately, at Town Hall 13, so her default is the best, while for the King, I would still strongly recommend the Rage Vial and the Gauntlet for most of your attacks. You can, of course, run the Vamp Stash if you don't have the Gauntlet, or if you think the Vamp Stash is better than the Rage Vial, but you might get less value from it. So with all of the hero equipment out of the way, how do you know when a base is really good for Queen Charge Lalo? Well, you want to specifically focus on taking down the enemy CC and either the enemy Queen or enemy Royal Champion. If you can get both the Queen and RC together, this is a good sign that you can charge into that area, remove them both, while also clearing out the defensive CC in the process. Other things to prioritize with your Queen Charge are, of course, key defenses and pathing for your Lavaloon. Usually the Town Hall is one of the biggest priority key defenses, but you don't always have to charge in for that area. You do, however, want to remove other key defenses of the likes of Scattershots or Inferno Towers. Mainly look and see if you can remove those key defenses while charging in for 2 of your 3 main targets. Now, in addition to your Queen Charge, your King and Royal Champion are going to be helping your Queen in both pathing and getting value off of the base. So for the King, I would recommend using him to first set the funnel and then use him to then expand the value. Typically, this is going to be to remove more key defenses like Scattershots, and being paired with this giant gauntlet ability, he should be able to put some good work in. He could possibly even remove an enemy hero that is further away, making it very much possible for him to get good value. While for the Royal Champion, you will want to use her so she can help funnel your Queen, while also removing a couple more defenses that will really help your Lalo tremendously when it comes to pathing. You could pair her as well with something like the Battle Drill, which could expand the value even if your RC dies a little bit earlier. Additionally, the new Overgrowth spell has been the talk of the town, and within Queen Charge Lalo, it can help you a lot. There are 3 main ways that you can run this spell in a Queen Charge Lalo setting. You want to either use it to funnel your Queen into a given area, or better yet, if you're hitting a ring base, funneling her into the core, which is extremely helpful for removing a town hall that's either isolated or in the core of the base surrounded by other key defenses. You could also use it to shut down the Eagle Artillery if you're not charging into it with either the Lalo or the Queen. And you can also use it to shut down defenses behind the Town Hall. which is definitely huge against things like teaser designs, as they usually have defenses behind it, and this can definitely make your queen charge much safer and a lot easier to still move through and get deeper in. So once that overgrowth expires, you additionally can clear out that area without having any fear. Getting closer to those defenses after removing the town hall is huge, and it really does allow your RC and queen and king to get additional value. Now, outside all of that, siege machines play another factor into your attack. The battle blimp and the stone slammer are two of the best siege machines when it comes to that queen charge Lalo, since realistically, if you don't need any other siege machine I'm going to mention, basically you can either run the blimp to remove the town hall while you're sending in the Lalo, or you can use it to support your queen by setting a bit of a funnel, or you can use the slammer, which is basically going to allow you to send it in with the Lavaloon and have an extra tank in there, since you really don't need any other siege machine that I'm going to mention. The flame flinger can also be incredibly good. Similar to the battle blimp, its main idea is to funnel an island compartment or a set of defenses, which allows you to basically get some really good value, setting a bit of a funnel while also being sure to get rid of maybe key defenses like an inferno tower or scatter shot. The battle drill is another good siege machine that you can use on either the Lavaloon phase like a siege bear or like a stone slammer, or using it with your king or the royal champion to get additional value off of the base. Now, with that said, here is the default army composition that I would recommend running in most situations. Now, the number of lava hounds is going to depend on how comfortable you are with queen charge Lalo. If you are choosing one lava hound, then you need to remove 2 air defenses alongside clearing a solid area of the base. This is more than likely designed for players with slightly more experience. While if you're a bit newer to queen charge Lalo, I would recommend just running 2 lava hounds. It's very solid and it allows you to have a lot of flexibility on any design. Just choose the best amount of hounds that you want to bring that best fits your playstyle. Now, of course, there are different ways to charge into a base. So we want to first start by looking at a ring style design. When you are using the queen charge against a ring base, sometimes you might get value on either using the battle blimp or the flame flinger in this situation. The main goal of this is to set a solid funnel. You don't necessarily always need sneaky goblins, but I would recommend bringing some if I were you. It can definitely really help, but sometimes you don't need it and you could very much take advantage of how buildings are placed. When you get a solid area to enter, using a super wall breaker is really nice, and using the barbarian king to set the other side of the funnel is really nice as well. Now, keep in mind that sometimes he might enter in with your queen, but that can be completely fine as long as your queen is taking consistent damage. Using a rage spell as you deal with both the enemy CC and deal with the enemy queen is definitely incredibly nice. Other than this, you just want to make sure that you are having the super wall breakers to get deeper into the base if possible. This way you're able to get closer to the town hall is really good. Now, the other thing here is using the overgrowth spell, as it allows your queen to basically ignore that entire area and then just allow your queen to very easily reach the town hall without having to worry. This is a really consistent way of being able to start your charge, and you can use the royal champion to expand the value a little bit, maybe pop your queen ability to secure the amount of value that you need, but otherwise after that, that is your entire charge, allowing you to send in the Lavaloon. But let's also look at an anti-3 base. So if you're queen charging an anti-3 type design, you should be bringing some form of funneling troops. So things like super barbarians or sneaky goblins or even baby dragons all do work well. I would recommend super barbarians because of their cheap cost, and of course their ability to funnel is unmatched. So you just want to make sure that what you're doing is setting part of the funnel with the funneling troops, and of course with the king. You can use a rage spell early, especially as you're dealing with a lot of DPS, and using your free freeze spells specifically to freeze things like high DPS defenses like single target inferno. They're always going to be incredibly important. So even if you use all of your freeze spells on that, you do want to make sure that you are keeping your queen alive. Just be really patient with your wall breakers, as sometimes it can go in the wrong direction. So you just want to make sure that you're getting the most value. With the king, you want to clear as many buildings as possible, which really does help a lot. And if you're able to remove both enemy heroes, it's incredibly good for a strategy like this. Using the rage spells to keep your queen alive, especially as you use the frozen arrow, and having your royal champion continue to get value off of the base while using her seeking shield and supporting your queen, it is extremely nice, and this allows you to get a large amount of value as you push deeper and deeper into the base before you sending in your Lavaloon. Now, as for hitting a teaser type of design, you can always deal with the enemy CC super easily by using a rage, poison, and then just letting your queen kind of deal with them. Of course, also having the healers, but it's really important to know that there are always traps around this area, Teslas around this area, and enemy heroes around this area. If you can get both heroes from this, it's amazing. But if you can just get one like the queen, then that's completely fine. Now with your king and your royal champion, you are using it to expand and actually set the tone of your queen charge, but also for your Lavaloon, which can be incredibly nice. So you just want to make sure that you have possibly the king going in for value, air defenses, maybe an enemy hero. That's can always be really nice, and that's the benefit of having the giant gauntlet and the rage fire. Now with the overgrowth, you can use this on defenses behind the town hall. Why is this important? Well, not only can you preserve them for the Lavaloon, but you also prevent them from targeting onto your queen. You've got the royal champion and the battle drill that you can use in order to help clear a given area, which can be really nice. And all of this is to expand the funneling and the pathing for the Lavaloon, so you can have a direct entry into something like the core of the base, which makes it much easier for you to get a 3-star. Now, from all of that queen charge value and pathing creation, you can then go ahead and start your Lavaloon. This is where I would recommend using either 1 or 2 lava hounds. If you're running in 2 lava hounds, I'd recommend using 1 lava hound and 3 groups of balloons with the Grand Warden. You can set up another Lavaloon by using the lava hound and a couple more groups of balloons. As for everything else, an early Grand Warden ability is really good, especially over lava hounds, as it preserves their HP a lot. Using haste spells to get to key defenses such as scatter shots, multi-target infernos, air defenses, these are things that are going to do a lot of damage to you, but having access to the haste means that you can get to those defenses quicker and you can take them out quick. Any sort of spells like free spells that you have can be chosen in order to stop those said defenses or splash damage buildings. Otherwise, just make sure that you have cleanup with minions, and you should have some with lava pups, but otherwise this will allow you to 3-star if you have 2 lava hounds. But what if you only have 1? Now, if you're running 1 lava hound, you do need to make sure that you are using him with the Lavaloon and possibly using a Grand Warden ability early to protect it. Unfortunately, if that doesn't happen, then that's completely fine. Just make sure that what you're doing though is, if you haven't dealt with the town hall already, a battle blimp is very much good. Having haste spells to get to splash damage defenses or key defenses is always very important. Otherwise, even if you do not have a lava hound on the field, you should still be able to use haste spells to get to those defenses, and you should also still have some other troops or other balloons that you can use to clear out one on the back end, which allows you to still overwhelm the base with balloons and basically allows yourself to get a huge amount of value to finish off the attack with the Lavaloon. Otherwise, I would very much recommend that you have minions ready to clean up, even if you send it in after you know that the balloons are going to be able to clear all of the value. Otherwise, as long as you have cleanup, you can still 3-star even if you are only running 1 lava hound. Now, with all of this knowledge, you can now go out and practice this super strong strategy. If you want something a tad bit easier, why not try E-Drags with the new Overgrowth spell?